we say career, especially in these times, what are some of the things we're talking about? Because it seems as though a career a little while ago may not necessarily be what the definition that we use now.
Yes, good morning, DK. Good morning to all the listeners and viewers. So first, if you don't mind, maybe
Please.
just pull back a little bit and address what is a podcast, because I've been getting that question quite a lot. So we all familiar with blogging on the internet. So a podcast is an audio blog that deals with a particular series. And as you correctly pointed out, our podcast, the Caribbean Mentors Podcast, deals with career building. And the approach we use to inspire people along building their careers is by interviewing individuals who have already built successful careers. We call them our mentors, and we ask them to recap how they went about building their careers. So we ask for really practical steps as to some of the decisions they would have taken in terms of how they went about choosing what programs to study, when they got their first job, if they really liked it initially, how did they transition and move to the different phases of their career. So to answer your question more directly, yes, we are in challenging times in terms of careers and people being out of jobs, but what I've found is some of the interviews that we have done also, individuals would have pointed out where they couldn't find jobs, right? And the steps they would have taken to move from that point to the next.
Now, I'm wondering what significance or what kind of difference do you have in seeing that, okay, we're dealing with people from the Caribbean, speaking to people in the Caribbean, I guess primarily?
Yes, excellent question. So again, what I've found is that everybody wants to be successful, no matter how we define that success for ourselves, right? And we seek sources of motivation, sources of inspiration. So even me personally, I started to listen to a lot of podcasts. And even though the persons on the podcast were making valid points, there was no real connection for me, because we talk about Mark Zuckerbergs and the Google brothers and stuff like that, but they are not from the Caribbean. So I don't really have a direct line of sight from where I am to where I would like to be. So that is what triggered it for me. I was saying, I would love to hear from individuals within our Caribbean region about how they build their careers right here. So I think we need to be inspired by us. I think we need to hear our stories and really captivate or capture the wisdom from those amongst us who have excelled.
How easy is it for us to tell our stories, though?
On my platform, well, it's very, very simple. So what it is we do on the Caribbean Mentors website, www.caribbeanmentors.com, we have a host of different things that we do. So there's an option there where you could suggest a guest to us. So if you would like to hear from DK, if you would like to hear your story, the audience will tell us, listen, I would like to hear from this particular individual. So one, we take cues from the audience who they would like to hear from, and we also reach out to individuals who are leaders in their particular industry. And you also have the option to submit your questions via a voice message. So if you are a subscriber, what it is we do, we will say, we have DK, for example, coming on the program, and he will be interviewed this particular day. Submit your questions, we'll get him to answer some of your questions, right? So it's really interactive. So just to repeat, we reach out to individuals, and we also get suggestions from the audience who they would like to hear from.
I really like that aspect of engagement.
Yes.
Because many times you have, okay, well, we're giving you information. If you don't get it, or if we didn't phrase it the way you want it, well, tough cookies, as opposed to say, well, okay, I want to be part of the conversation, and you allow for me to be part of the conversation. But how is that conversation, that talk from the mentor, how is it laid out? Because I see there are different kind of aspects that go into one episode. Right.
So we try to frame it. Yes, we ask them to recap their journey, but I mean, someone's journey who have had a 30 or 40 year career will be pretty long. So we try to condense it into more highlights. So I will give a brief recap in highlights about how they went about building their career or the level they have attained. And I ask them pointed questions like, what was the biggest struggle you had? What was the time you felt most disappointed, and how did you rise above that? Did you apply for a particular job or wanted a particular position and they brought in someone else from another company? You're starting your business. How did you go about getting that first client? How did you deal with your nerves? All those set of different things. How do you balance your other aspects of your life with building your career? Because it's not just a individualistic thing where you just plug away at your career. So we try to gather a holistic approach of not only strictly career, but the mentor inadvertently leaves tips and advice about building a life and things you could consider while you're building a career also.
Like that, building a life in which you have a career, as opposed to building, because some people, they have the career and then afterwards they, I don't know.
Yeah, we also, some of the mentors also target that. So we are on episode number 53, which will, so every Monday we publish a new episode. So every Monday, if you subscribe, you get a notification saying, well, there's a new episode on the website. We also post it on our Facebook page. So every Monday, there's a new episode featuring a new mentor in a different industry. And they recap their story. As I pointed out before, they leave tips and advice. So just to highlight some of the mentors we have had previously. So we have had Ms. Sharon Christopher. She's a retired deputy CEO of First Citizens Bank. We have had Ms. Catherine Kumar to go up the Caribbean. We have had Dr. Braffett. And we have a whole host of lineup of interviews for the upcoming season. So, as I said, our tagline is about inspiring generations. We are on a mission to inspire this generation and the generation coming behind. And the way we want to do that is by kind of collecting all the wisdom of the generation going before. So if you tell your story and everyone in that generation kind of comes together and tell their story, what it is you'll find is you'll have a collective wisdom of the generation going behind that we could now build upon to take the country and the region forward.
How easy is it to get these elders to actually share their stories, to say, okay, well, yes, this is something that makes sense and I'm going to be a part of it?
Excellent question, because that is the problem with, and I know there are tons of excellent mentorship programs out there, right? Now, the problem we have found and we are trying to solve is that, let's say, take you for example, or let's take the head of a news organization, for example. You, as a young person, you're interested in being in the media industry. You will love to talk to the head of a media company to get some tips. You know, Mr. Ken Gordon, you like to, he was on the program, by the way. So you would like to talk to him. But one, if you are not really connected to him, it's hard to get in contact with him. He's a busy person. He don't really have time, even though he's willing to help. So he may be able to speak with you, for example, but what happened to the second, third, fourth, fifth person, or the 100 people who would like to hear from him? So what you find is that the schedules of the mentors are extremely busy, and then you can't duplicate yourself, so you don't have time to talk to 1,000 people at different points in time. So we are saying we will connect with the mentor, and we schedule the interview, whether it's day, night, morning, evening, whenever, and we will field the questions to that person, capture their thoughts and opinions and experiences so that any and everybody could get the feedback that they desire.
What's the average runtime of each episode?
We try to keep it around 30 to 45 minutes. Some interviews have exceeded that, but that's our sweet point, between 30 to 45 minutes, because we want the podcast to be a secondary activity, right? So it's strictly audio. So what we are saying, some of the feedback we have gotten is that our listeners, they will take it with them on their morning walk, or they're going to the gym, they put it on the MP3 player or pop it on the phone, and they listen while they're doing a secondary activity. Some persons have told me that they put it on because we publish the episodes 4 a.m. on a Monday morning. So if you're getting ready for work, you have it playing, and we just stick with once a week because we know people like the music and stuff like that, but we are saying our encouragement is to just take 45 minutes one day of the week and just fill your mind with some inspiring local stories to, really motivate you to build your career also.